Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Cracking the Cryptic. So today we're doing puzzle 14, which is a killer arrow thermo sudoku from Christopher Seliger, which highlights a problem because the last puzzle we did was killer arrow sudoku, and I actually shouldn't even say I did it. I never, even from beginning to end, could figure out what the strategy was, and there was just some new strategy specifically in this puzzle that has not been used in any of the previous Sudoku games variants with killer boxes or arrows in it. And so that highlights a problem that also 500, 500, 500, 500 very much could have had, is that if you were even slightly frustrated with one variant after this puzzle, whatever variants overlap with the next puzzle are just going to lead to more frustration. So my only hope here is that I've taken a little bit of a longer break, and that strategy to solve puzzle 13 is in no way used in puzzle 14. Let's hop in. This spells 500 again if you squint. So it almost feels like this may have been some celebration puzzle too. Celebration round number. Anyways, classic rules of Sudoku still apply. 1 through 9 must appear only once for every row, every column, and every box. Then we have the thermometer variant. Numbers on must increase as they move along thermometers starting at the bulb. Which is a problem too. Is this the thermometer? Or is this the thermometer? Or is this the thermometer? If you don't know if this is the first puzzle you've done, or even if you've forgotten, I guess technically it couldn't really have been the first puzzle you had done, because it was locked behind earning stars by doing previous puzzles. This is the thermometer, by the way. It's just going in two different directions. And then killer boxes, cells inside each of the killer cage must sum to the number in the top left corner. And then arrows, the number along the shaft must sum to the base. Okay. And once again, this is a super difficult variant handcrafted puzzle, which starts with absolutely no numbers. So what can we figure out to begin with? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers on the thermometer, which I think probably means that this one and this one probably have to be 1 and 2, or 2. This one and this one probably has to be 2 or 3. This one or this one probably has to be 3 or 4. And then, well, actually, no. None of that is true, is it? Because, well, the numbers might be the same, potentially. Like, the thermometer does not say that the numbers on the thermometer have to be different. So, theoretically, I was thinking if this was 1, this would have to be 2, but it doesn't. This could be 1 also. So let's start with what numbers can't be here, I guess. There's no way this is 1. No way. There's no way this is 2. There's no way it's 3. No way it's 4, and no way it's 5. Because even if you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this would still have to be 7, so there's no way it's 6. Which then, if we're eliminating that many numbers, we might as well just mark what it can be, which is 7, 8, or 9. And that literally may be the only bit of information we can get from this section. So it almost feels like this could be 3 separate Sudoku puzzles just connected. As far as the arrows, the trick here may be exactly the same, really. Even though the rules apply differently, it may very well be that solving this creates this, and then creates this, and they synergize a lot more than they look like it does. On first glance, it looks like you're just going to solve one of these, and then one of these, and one of these, and then you'll just solve the rest of it by basic Sudoku. Alright. Let's go with possible combinations then. Any number could be here, so that's probably a bad place to start. 5 can't be here. So we can at least say no to 5s. Probably any number can be here. 1 and 2 can't be here, and 6 can't be here. So that gets us some progress. Looks like any number can be here. And looks like any number could be here. It looks like any number could be here. It looks like any number could be there. Let's go back over here and consider this. If we know this is 7, 8, 9, then we should know that this should be 6, 7, 8. Because you couldn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and be any higher, be any lower than 6. So then I suspect same thing could be true here, in that these would have to be 5, 6, 7, because there's no way you go 1, 2, 3, 4 and not be at least a 5. Same then has to be here, as far as it should be 4, 5, 6. Then 3, 4, 5. Then 2. 3, 4, I guess. Are the possibilities there? And then 1, 2, 3 are the possibilities there. Okay. That tells us something. Tells us a couple things. Here and here are connected. And we know for a fact that at minimum there's not going to be a 3 involved here. Maybe that will give us more information later. We know here are going to be affected, so know at least that this isn't going to involve a 7. Am I correct about that? Is it possible that Yeah, I think it is possible you could not have a 7 here, because you could just have like 6, 8, 6, 9, 8, and just never use 7. So that actually doesn't tell me any information at all. We could look at these combinations. Is it possible that we wouldn't use 3? Could you do 1, 2, and 5? Yes. So it would seem, I would have thought that this here would have eliminated some possibilities here or here, but it doesn't seem like it actually does. We can probably guarantee some information here in that these 4 spaces have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and they actually do form just a quadruple, since there's no other place where those numbers could be. But until we could get more information, that shouldn't be able to affect any of the rest of this. And then I guess that means each number has to appear once, if my logic is correct. Maybe I've made a mistake already here by assuming that these have to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, could you put a 4 here and then do 1, 2, 3? No, you can't put a 4 here. So this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if we have to get every number involved, then this has to be 9. Just because this entire cube box has to be... Wow. So I did make a mistake in my logic already. Okay. Well, if this is not 9, where could 9 be? Am I doing the puzzle right in the first place? Numbers must increase as they move along the thermometers, starting at the bulb. Ah. Okay. Whew. So let's just, I guess, highlight everything and start all over again. I solved the entire thing backwards. So let's just go backwards here. 9, 8, 7. 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2. Why did that happen? Oh, I guess because I have only one selected and I'm in this mode. So I was going to get to 1 being the possibility anyways, but we can just skip ahead since I accidentally typed it in. But yeah, we were going to find out that that was 1 anyways, and then that is going to make this 6, 7, 8, 9 now. Okay. And all of a sudden, this is probably going to help. So anything in this pattern that includes a 1, I guess is still viable, because there could be a 1 somewhere else. So, yeah. I don't think that eliminates anything. And until we know for certain whether this is a 6-7 pair and this is an 8-9 pair or vice versa, that won't eliminate anything else either. And then these arrows have to sum. So every possibility seems still to be viable there. And then these numbers have to be fairly medium and small of these 6 numbers. So let's look at this box. Is there a possibility that we would have a 159 here? I think so. I think you could have 6, 7, and then 8 and still do 159. And I think that's going to be the case every single opportunity you run into. So we gotta figure out something more. We do know at one side here has to be 2, and one of these sides kind of has to be 3. So I don't think, since we have to have a 2 and 3, I don't think that the 4 is actually viable in that spot. Let's get rid of that. Which then that makes this a 2-3 pair. And if that information is correct, then still doesn't mean we couldn't solve this with a 2 or 3, but it might eliminate this combination, because you can't have, well, no, you could have the 8 here and a 2 and 3, so it doesn't eliminate any possible combinations. And inherently one of these has to be 4 and one of these has to be 5. So I think we can eliminate the 3, the 4 and 5 there, which that means we can probably eliminate the 4 here. This is either going to be 5 or 6, and if this is 5 or 6, then the only possibilities here should be 5, 6 or 7. And then the only possibilities here should be 7 or 8, assuming my logic is still working. And then the only possibilities here should be 8 or 9. So we've gotten it down more. And everything here is just reflected. So if this is a 7, this has to be an 8. So as soon as we figure out even like 1, we might figure out several. Let's see. We otherwise know that all of these pieces here have to include, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we can kind of pair all those together. Then we can further reduce possibilities by removing the 1 from those spots because of the 1 being here. So there is something differently I think I'm liking about this puzzle, or at least this left half of the puzzle, in that I am being able to follow it, and in following the logic I have started from nothing and built out a good foundation for the first 3 out of 9 boxes. don't know if there's still any situation here where a single combination here could be eliminated. We would need a combination that would have more numbers, or would have to be much higher than what we're saying. This 267 is about the closest one you could eliminate, and it's still very viable that if this was 267, then, well, I guess 267 wouldn't work, would it? If this was 267, then you'd get rid of the 6 and 7 here, and then this would be 9 and 8, and this couldn't be 5, and this couldn't be 4, and this couldn't be 3, and this couldn't be 2, or at least I'm assuming that that is correct. I might be wrong. Like, I may have really made something pretty and nice here and been completely wrong about the information, because it could be, I suppose, that this one goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this one goes 1, maybe 8. No, it couldn't be as high as 8. Maybe there is another pattern to this. Even if I did eliminate 267, saying that that couldn't be it, then I still probably couldn't really remove too much. If I remove the 168, then that would be 7 and 7. So let's say that couldn't happen. If I remove the one, if it was a 159, then 678 would still work perfectly. So yeah, even if we're logically correct about eliminating these two possibilities, which I'm not ready to commit to, it would be only those two possibilities. If this is 5 or 6 here, or if this was 4 or 6 as the solution, that eliminates 4 and 6 here, which might tell us something in the future. Let's see. If this was 3 here and 9 here, that would still work. If this was 4 here and 8 here, that would still work. If this was 5 here and 7 here, that would still work. Yeah. Is there even a single digit that can be eliminated from these 13s? I don't think so. We see 1s, we see 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. We see 6s, 7s, and 8s. So these two 13s, which may mean something eventually, don't mean anything right now. There is a possibility that we could eliminate some possibilities. Let's just do some basic math though. If this is 1, then this would be 2 and this would be 3. That means this number has to be 6, 7, or 8 high, and same is true for that. So 6, 7, 8, or 9 as a possibility. If this was 1 and this was 2 and this is 3, then we know these also have to be 6, 7, 8, or 9. We know that 1 couldn't be here, but that doesn't stop a 1 from being like here or here. if we could pare this down to just an 8-9 pair, then I could fill up the rest of this. Otherwise, I'm going to potentially just highlight 6 numbers here and then say it could be any number at all. That wouldn't be helpful. I hope this isn't a case where I'm going to have to look at every single combination here and see if it would work. Like a 159 here would then be a 2 and a 3, and then the biggest number plus 2 and 3 would be 4 if a 1 is not included. So yeah, we know this is 234 if this is 159. This was 168, same thing. If this was 249, it would be different. So what is the next step? Let's just continue to mark things, at least in some of these boxes, as far as combinations. It could be 1, it could be 2, could be 3, could be 4, could be 5, could be 6, could be 7, 8, or 9. So everything there gets filled. Same is true here. So that did nothing for me. Here are the combinations for everything except for 1 and 2 and 6. So let's just mark those. Then let's just get rid of the red markings there. And then the possibility here is everything except for 5. We'll just get rid of that red marking. Even if this isn't really accomplishing much, it gives me something to do while I try to find the next part of the puzzle that can be solved. We can get rid of the 1, but I think in this case we can also get rid of the 2s and the 3s. Okay. So is this going to create some kind of psychotic situation where all of these numbers add up to the 6 missing numbers? I mean, it will, but what does that mean? It probably raises the thermometers or arrows number up, because if this was 4 and this was 2, then you'd be 6, and this was 1, you'd be 7. So it means these can't be 6s. Okay. We could also go ahead and remove 9s from the possibility, and go ahead and remove 8 because this can't be 8, then 2, then 1. 7 plus 2 would be 9, plus 1 would be 10, so it can't be 7. 6 plus 2 would be 7, 8, plus 1 would be 9, so it gets us down to 4, 5, 6. Okay. If we could get this down to 4, 5, 6, then we would know basically everything. Let's instead fill out the rest of these as far as what numbers could be here. In these cases, a 1 could be there, a 2 could be there, a 3 could be there. 3 plus 4 would be 7, plus 1 would be 8. 4 plus 4 would be 8, plus 1 could be 9. But 5 plus 4 would be 9, so that's too high. So you know that these can only be 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like the logic we got to this spot might be applicable to these spots. Yeah, it feels like you could be a 1, you could be a 2, you could be a 3. 1 plus 2 plus 3 would get you 6. You can be a 4 and a 5 and a 6. 6 plus 2 is 7, 8 plus 1 is 9. But if you were to have a 7 in here, then 7 plus 1 would be 8, plus 2 would be 10. So we know those aren't 7, 8, 9s. Which I guess means we could mark these 7, 8, and 9s possibly. 1 plus 2 plus 3 would be 6. Seems like they might also be 6s. We probably don't know enough information to really fill in all of those. So let's not actually fill that in. And it feels like we've made a decent amount of progress now. But I'm not sure I know what the next move is. Let's look at these combinations here. There really is no telling. If this was 1, 4, 9, could this be 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3, which would give you 5, and then plus 4. No, because it would have to be 4. This would be 1, 4, 9. So yeah, I don't think the first combination is possible. If this was 1, 5, 8, could you go 2 plus 3 plus 4? Yes. If this is 1, 6, 7, can you go 2 plus 3 plus 4? Yes. If you went 2, 3, 9, could you go 1 plus 4 plus 5? No. If you go 2, 4, 8, can you do 1 plus 3 plus 5? Yes. 2, 5, 7. 1 plus 3 plus 4 works. 3, 7, 4. 1 plus 2 plus 5. works. And then 3, 5, 6 would be 1 plus 2 plus 4, which also works. So a decent amount of combinations there are still valid. I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference here. A 1, 5, 9 here could give you 2 plus 3 plus 4. A 1, 6, 8 can give you 2 plus 3 plus 4. A 2, 4, 9 can give you 1 plus 3 plus 5, which works. 2, 5, 8, 1 plus 3 plus 4, 2, 6, 7, 1 plus 3 plus 4, smallest possible combinations. 3, 4, 8, 1 plus 2 plus 5 still works. 3, 5, 7, 1 plus 2 plus 4 still works. And then 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 works in that case. So that didn't eliminate any possibilities. See, I don't think filling in these two spots works as a concept. I could fill them in with almost anything. But I'm almost out of hints too, so before I'm going to have to actually look at hints. At the very least, if I do start using hints, I think I've made a decent amount of progress. This could be 9, this could be 7 or 8. None of that would stop that from being like a 1 and then a 9 here, or 2 and an 8 here, a 3 and a 7, or 4, 6. Are we getting any bit of information that's helpful as far as where the rest of this would go? I don't know. I do think there's something here to this. If we know that 2, 3 is here or here, then 2, 3 kind of has to be here or here. And I guess 2, 3 could be here. If 5 though, I guess we should ask this. If 5 is here or here, could this be 3, 4, 6? Possibly. But I don't think practically it could be. Which would make me think that 5 has to be here on one of these, and then it has to be here on another. Which that doesn't circle around to anything. Let's see what a smart hint, just in the interest of saving time, let's see what smart hint would say. Same old, can't generate a hint. So there is a kind of obvious logic that I could fill in everything, but I don't know if that's going to help anything. Let's see. This could be any numbers at all. Here. Let's just take the first written hint. The thermos in box 4 produce a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple there with 1 on the bulb, and one of the thermos must continue 6, 7, 8, 9. Why is that case? Okay, I see what they're saying here. Since one of these pretty much has to be 5, whether it's here or here, if that's 5, then the only thing you could possibly do is 6, 7, 8, and 9 there. So we're going to have smooth sailing if you can figure out which one that's the case. Because then that would guarantee the elimination of some possibilities there. Interesting. And something that I think I could have grasped or figured out. What's the next hint? If this happened in box 1, if this was 6, 7, 8, 9, row 2, column 4, 5, and 6 would be 1, 2, 3. And there would be another 6 in row 3, column 6. Yeah, this was 1, 2, 3. That would add up to 6. And then this 6, 8, 9 wouldn't work. So this has to be 6, 7, 8, 9. Which then well, wait a minute. See, it's jumping logic here again. Well, I'm not grasping something. If this was 6, 7, 8, 9, then why would these be 1, 2, 3? Why couldn't it be 2, 3, 4? What is the weirdness of the combinations that would say that can't be the case? Because the only thing that would work would possibly be this 4, 5, 6 as the possible solution. Is that the case? If this was 7, 8, 9, what combinations would this eliminate? That one, 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 leaving you only 4, 5, 6, which would make this 1, 2, 3. Yeah, even when I'm reading hints, they're not going into enough detail. So let's take that same concept here and apply it to these sections. If this is 7, 8, 9, then this can't be it. Nor that, nor that, nor that, nor that, nor that, nor that. This would have to be 3, 5, 6. Okay. Let's go ahead and just mark those. There we go. Got that locked down. Then, because the instructions in the hint is telling me that this is 6, 7, 8, 9, which is not something I would have considered just because I'm unfamiliar with it. That also means these can't be 3s or 5s or 6s, which makes this 1, 2, 4, which then tells you, we can test here, that the number here is 7. And we can go further and just lock in the numbers. Okay. So we locked in the numbers. And then, since this is 1, 2, 4, this probably has to be 3. Because why? Could it be 4, 5? Seems like if this could be 5. Yeah, it seems if this could be 5, this could probably be 5. Could it be 6? Possibly. Couldn't be 7, 8, or 9. I might be overly precautious and this may just be 3. We can mark the rest of these since we have a smaller subset now. Let's see if that helps. Six plus 7 plus 4 tells me this can't be 6 in that position. 5 plus 1 to 6 plus 4 wouldn't work either. So in double checking, we now know that's a 3, which severely reduces possibilities. I'm gonna have an odd number out here at some point. Let's see. A 1 plus a 7 plus 2. 1 plus 5 is 6 plus 2 would be 8. Is there possibly some more information that can be derived either for this cube or maybe this combination killer box? Let's see. 3 here, 9 here still is viable. 4, 8 is still viable. 5, 7 is still viable. Yeah, I've got kind of nothing. In fact, I'm just feeling tired. I may just want to take a break. We're 48 minutes into this puzzle. We could fill in the rest of these spots, but it would be almost every option. We can fill in, I guess, this box and see what we can do. I see a 1 possibility, a 2 possibility, a 4 possibility, a 5 possibility, an 8 possibility, and a 9 possibility. And then remove the 5 because of the 3, 5, 6 here. See, that doesn't really feel like that solves anything. And does it really help to fill in, say, these spots? Again, it probably is just every single number. Oh wait, I do see a path forward now. Since this could only be a 7 or 8, or at least we hope we were correct in marking it that way, then this would have to be a 7. Then this would have to be a 6. Then this would have to be a 5. And we're wrong. Why? Like we guessed, I guess we were possibly just guessing here. But my marking is wrong. I guess it's because theoretically this could be 2, 3. And then this could be 4, 5. So let's see if we can mark this correctly. So we're saying this could be 3. So that this could be 2, 3. And then that means this could be 4. Whereas this one could be also 4. And so yeah, I think my logic was flawed here. And yes, we tried to turn this from a 6 down to a 5 in this spot, and we know it's wrong. But do we have a logical reason why this has to be 5? Well, I think it was part of that first hint that said if this was 5, this would have to be 6. I mean, if this was 5, this would have to be 6, 7, 8, 9, and then that wouldn't work for the reasons and rules of these two spots. Which, once we learned that wasn't 5, and remove that from being a possibility, there's only one 5 available on the field in that box. So then this 5, I'm not sure inherently means this can't be a 5. Nor do I think it guarantees that this has to be a 4. Which we based the elimination of 1, 2, and 3 on in these spots off of the idea that you had a 2, 3 pair here. When you actually don't have that guarantee by any means. 5 eliminating the possibilities over here. don't mean anything. We've got this down to 7, so we know this is 1, 2, 4. Don't we? Apparently we did at some point figure that out, which means we can at least get rid of the 4s, and then you have 4 numbers that are locked in, but we don't know which 3 would be here to guarantee what would be here. Let's look at the possible combinations in this. This could be 3 and 9 here. That would work. This could be 5 and 7 here, and that still feels like that would work. And this could be 4 and 8. That still feels like that would work. Are we at a point, however, or have we made yet another mistake where this could be 8 and then one of these could be 9? Yeah. I think 9 is a possibility in these spots. A 6-9 pair here, if this is correct, would mean this and this can't be 9. Then a 7-8 here would make this the only 7. So I'm hoping that's right. Should also leave that as the only 8, which then would boil this down to being 9, which means we need an 8 to be here. And now we have 2, 3, 4 possibilities, but then the 1 has to be here. So if we can just figure out now if this is 4 or 5, we'll know what the rest of these 3 numbers are, and we'll finish a box relatively early. Did we eliminate enough possibilities elsewhere? No, I don't think so. If this 8 eliminates this as a possibility, then you've got 3, assuming this is correct, plus 1 is 4, plus 5 is 9, 3 plus 1 plus 4 gets you 8, which means this shouldn't be able to be a 7 anymore. We can check that by marking that as a 9. That breaks the 6-9 pair, making that 6, making that 9. Then what else are we possibly able to boil this down to? 4 maybe can only be here? No. I think there's too many options still. So what's the next step? Is it finally time to start considering some of the options here? We can eliminate things here. Like, that's not going to be it, that's not going to be it, that's not going to be it. That could be it. That's not going to be it. That could be it. That's not going to be it. That's not going to be it. Okay. So at the very least, this would eliminate some possible numbers. There's no 1, and then there's no 6 or 7. Get rid of the 1 at least. 2 is still possible, 3 is still possible, 4 and 5 are still possible, and 8 are still possible. That means a 1 has to be in this section, which we kind of know a 1 wasn't going to be in this section, which maybe means, let's just mark this information. A 1 has to be here, a 1 can't be here. This one could have a 1 in it. This one could have a 1 in it. But if the 1 was here, then this would be 9, so that wouldn't work. If the 1 was here, that would be fine, I think. Because you could go 3 and 9 here. Or you could go 4 and 8 here. And still have a 1 in that spot. So we can't quite get to that point. Could mark this is also not a 1. And what would, if we know 1 has to be in here, then 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7, so we can get rid of, I guess, the 6. That's not what I meant to do. Okay. So that may give us a small bit of extra information. Of the two combinations here, though, if this was 1 plus 2 plus 4 to get to 7, then this couldn't be it, and this couldn't be it, so it's not 1 plus 2 plus 4. It's then gotta be a combination of 1 plus 2 plus 3, which would give you 6 and still be a viable thing, isn't it? So I was wrong about that being not possible. Because we have 3's here and 3's here, we just can't have a 3 here. Okay. If this was 6, then 1 plus 3 plus 2 would eliminate both options, which I think again maybe means this can't be 6. Going backwards and forwards here. Okay. Then 5 has got to be it, which is 2 plus 1 plus 5. And if this was 2, 1, and 5, that would eliminate this combination, but leave 3, 8, 4, which I think is exactly the solution here. 1 and 2 and 5. And then this is 8. And that will tell us if we were correct or not. Yes, we are correct. And I am actually solving this with logic. Like, this is definitely the comeback episode from the last episode where I totally screwed that up and couldn't figure it out at all. Still can't figure it out. Alright. If this is 1 and 2 and 5, then we know these two are not 3. That's 3, 4, 8. We already knew that too. That means the options here are 3, 4, 6, and 7. And that should just be one big grouping of 3, 4, 6, and 7. When we figure out what this number is, it will know what these 3 are, and then we'll basically know what these 3 numbers are, and should know what that number is. If this was 4, then this would be 5. That's still very doable. We can look at these combinations and we can now possibly eliminate something, but it would have to be something probably over here. Like, this could be 1 and 9, but there's a 9 here and a 9 here, so that's not the combination. This could be a 2 and an 8, but the 8 here and 8 here makes that not the combination. So it could be a 3 and 7. We haven't seen anything there. Or it could be a 4 and a 6. Although it would have to be 6 here and 4 here because of that. Is there something similar we could do here with this information? This can't be a 9 and 3, but I don't see anything that stops us from being a 3 and 9. This could be a 4 and 8. This couldn't be a 5, 7 though. There's a 5 and a 7 here, so that combination is eliminated. And we assume that that is correct already. And we would need something with 9 and 8 both in the name to eliminate those. And this one doesn't have anything influencing it other than the 1. So we couldn't solve that one. Could probably just fill in this box. Just think about what could it be here. 2, but not 3 or 4, and not 1. 5 is a possibility. 6 is a possibility. 7 is a possibility. And then 9 is a possibility. Yeah, I'm not sure that's super helpful at the moment. I think this probably echoes those ideas. This could be a 1. Although we now know it isn't a 1. Whoops. 1. And then it could be a 2. Could be a 5. Could be a 6. Could be a 7. Can't be an 8 or a 9. I would have thought I would have finished this part earlier, but No, nothing so far. We could possibly make some decisions here. If this is 9, 1 plus 6 would be 7. Plus 2 could be 9. So I think everything is still in play. 3 plus 4 plus 2 could be 9 also. Yeah, let's just fill in the rest of the boxes. I thought it was wasteful to fill in the boxes, but honestly, if you have no better idea, I think it is the best strategy, is just to fill in every single possible number if you have to, and then just keep the momentum of making any level of progress happen. It builds morale. There's a lot of possibilities here. These are probably going to be about the last numbers you fill in. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 in that spot. Then last 3 here are going to be, I guess, just probably everything is possible there. But we'll just mark them in so we have a full pencil marked up Sudoku. Undoubtedly you would take, I think, a lot more time if you weren't pencil marking the Sudoku and just trying to solve it directly. Okay. We're probably supposed to be looking here at the possible combinations again. But I think we just kind of did look at that and don't have anything that we can really determine. If something had both 8 and 9 in it, then I could eliminate that as a possibility. So if it's not one of these, then I suppose the question is it one of these? We have a 1, 2, 5 up here, 1, 2, 4. We know those combinations. Can we get these combinations here locked in? If the options are 4 plus 3, which would get you 7, makes that 2 to get to 9. That means 2 is right, but is there a possibility that 2 could be here? I don't think so. Yeah. The other possibility here would be 5 plus 3 is 1, then 4 wouldn't be here. Is there a possibility though that 6 plus 3? Nope. So this one cannot be 6. So that gets it down to a 4, 5. Which maybe if this gets it down to a 4-5, that would eliminate a bunch of other possible 4-5s. Yeah, and 4 and 4 here. It's not going to work, so we can get rid of that 4. That might make a 1-2. So for the sum of 9, could this be 6 plus 2 plus 1? Yes, it seems like it could be. Four plus 2 would make the 1 have to be here. We got down to that point. 5 plus 1 would make 2 or 4 have to be here. Or 2 would eliminate this 2. 5, 1 would make this a 2. So it definitely would be convenient if this was 5, 1. And so maybe there is a way in my mind to justify guesswork by just what looks like it would be convenient, despite there not being full solid logical reasons and explanations in my mind as to why something would work. The 1 has to be here, or the 1 has to be here. If the 1 was here, would that change anything? Not yet, it wouldn't. Later it might. Let's just look at all the numbers. Then we need a 2 in this column, we need a 2 in this column. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think we have enough information for any of it. Let's ask a before we even like read the rest of this, let's just see if there's a smart hint. Yeah, because smart hint will highlight just or at least smart hints feel like they're highlighting the very next step that you may just be overlooking. There's a hidden single in column. So if we only read that far, could we find out what they're talking about? Let's see. Is there only one place where the number 1 can be here? No, there's 2 places. Is there only one place where the number 2 could be here? In this column, no. Number 3, no. 4, no. 5, no. And number 9, no. So it's not that column. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 3, 4, 5 means it's not that column. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4 means it's not that column. It's got to be a different one. 1s. Just look at every single column, or I could just read further on the hint. Twos, then. There's a 2 here, 2 here. Threes, then. Should just stop checking the column as soon as we see 2 3s. Well, this actually, it can't be a 3, so I probably should check just by basic Sudoku. Let's just look at 4s then, using the Sudoku highlighting app function. 4 here can be 4 here, and then 4 here, and 4 options here, and 4 options there, 4 options here, 4 options there. Seems like you're gonna probably have options everywhere in these 3 boxes. 5s. Let's see, 5 could be here, here, 5 could be here, or here. Or here. 5s, 5s, and a whole bunch of 5s. Moving on to 6. Seeing a lot of 6s. 7s. Got all the 7s here. We can remove that from being a 7. 7 has to be here or here, which then removes those 2 from being 7s, which then makes that a 7. And when I did that, that was the smart hint it was giving me. Okay. You have a 1, 2, 5 here, a 1, 2 here, a 1, 2, 4 here. You know, either the 1 or 2 is going to be here, and it's going to then, yeah, well no, the 4 could be here. It could be 1, 2, 4, and then this could be 1, 2, and this could be 1, 2. So should we do just basic Sudoku again, or should we just immediately ask for another smart hint because the 7's not gonna help me enough? Wait a minute, let's actually talk about 7s. 7s mean the 7 has to be in these, so let's evaluate what the possibilities are. If a 7 has to be in the 3 group here, then that would have to be 2, 4, 7. And so if we put a 7 here, could we put a 2 and a 4 here? Yes. If a 7 was going to be here, it would have to be 7 and then 3. And that's possible. Or the 7 could be here, which that doesn't actually help too much. Wherever 7 is here, there will be a 7 there, a 7 here. That means I guess we could elevate this to being a 7. It's got to be in one of those spots, and a 7's got to be into one of those spots. 8s. If we elevate this to say an 8 has to be in this spot, that doesn't change anything. We already know it's a 3, 4, 8. Yeah. 9. 7. 6. 5. Okay, this 5 eliminates that as being a 5. is 2, 3, 4 pair all matched up. And it probably is more beneficial to keep the highlight on those like that than to have, say, 2, 3, 4, 5 pair here highlighted. But highlighting in general is not helping. Yeah, I'm just desperately trying to do a basic Sudoku solution so I can make some progress and move on. If we're looking at 3s here, and then there has to be a 3 here, we know a 3 is not, it's not there. Okay, we should have known that already because this is 3, 5, 6, which actually means the 5 and the 6 should go away anyways. I don't think we can do anything more with 3s though. 4s. Fives. There's no guarantee that the 5 is here. No guarantee that the 5 is here. If there was, then we would kind of know. And if this was a 4-5 pair, then I would know that the 4 and 5 can't be here. So eventually we may figure that out. I can't even remember now if I started at 1 and worked my way up to 5, or if I started at 9 and worked my way up to down to 5. Which inherently I should have a pattern that's better than that. I should just work my way up always, and that way, if I have a brain fart, I'll know that I was going upward. Guess this can't be a 9. It's not what I meant to do. I'm saying that a lot. Even though this is a pretty decent interface, there's still some kind of major issues that I'm struggling with. And it's very noticeable in like puzzle games when the controllers aren't reacting the way you expect them to. If you're running and gunning and shooting, usually those interactions are kind of dumbed down and easy, so a jump a little too early or a little too late is just automatically corrected in a lot of games. Or unnoticeable, really. Alright, so I'm going to need another smart hint. There's a hidden single column. 8 can only go in row 9, column 4. Okay, let's see if that's true. Yes, it is true. But I was looking at 8s. And I'm just not looking for the right thing, obviously. Because things are still just bypassing my brain completely. 5, 6, 9 means this is 9, means none of these are 9. Yeah. I don't know if that helps me any further. This can't be a 6 here. Maybe I should just always be in the pencil mark mode and go back to pencil mark mode, and then that would help me better. Okay. So we know a 6 is here or a 6 is here. If we could figure out that this was 6, then we'd know that one of these would be 5, one of these would be 9. That would help us. Like, undoubtedly, I think there is probably another naked column. It keeps looking and finding naked columns, so let's just investigate. Start at 1 and look at all the columns and see if there's a column that can only have 1, 1, or 1, 2, or 1, 3, or 1, 4. I want to be at least determined enough here to know that if I'm going to end up clicking smart hint, which I probably am, that I have at least done my due diligence to make sure there is no repetition of the same thing that I'm overlooking over and over again. Like, yes, there is a naked column here in 6s. 6 can't be here, apparently can't be here, can't be here, and can't be here. So that's a 6. Which then makes this a 6, which we already knew. Makes this a 3, 4, 6, which is not helpful really until we get either this cleared or this settled. Then it would help us eliminate possibilities in either the column or row. Just start all over again for naked columns. 1, 2, 3s, 4s, 5s. This is a 5-9 pair. Right, so we found something there. We can select this, this, and get rid of the 5s. Yeah, this 5-9 pair. I don't think we have any 9s here. Anyways. Sixes. 7s. Eight. Nine. Okay, so I absolutely don't see any naked singles as far as columns. However, I should have been looking while I was highlighting things to see if there were any naked singles as far as rows, and before I even start doing that, I should also be looking for naked singles as far as boxes go. Don't see anything for ones. Don't see anything for twos. Don't see anything for threes. Don't see anything for fours. One of these has to be 5. So there's probably not a 6 going here. Yeah, this is 1, 2, 5. This is 1, 2, 5, and this is 1, 2. Sevens. We may lock down the 7s pretty quickly. 8s. And then 9s. This can't be a 9. And wherever the 9 is here, the 9 will be somewhere there. Which I don't think probably tells us enough information to look at this. Because I could see this being a 5-8, and then there being a combination here. Still doable to put a 9 in this spot. If we could eliminate 1, 3, 9 as a possibility, which then that would help quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a smart hint, and if it says naked column, row, or naked box, then I've really screwed up. Okay, at least that's slightly better. So before we go and look for the first handwritten hint, let's see if we can. We really haven't given it enough attention yet in these spots. So 3, 4, 8. We'd already determined. 3, 7, or 4, 6 is still doable. Seemingly every combination here is still doable. 3, 5, 6. We have. If this was 3 and this was 9, that would work. If this is 4 and this is 8, or this is 8 and this is 4, that would work. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't see it. You know what the sums are for these spots. Perhaps we should consider just what the possible combinations are here for this. Maybe these two synergize, and I haven't really thought of that since they're all in the same box. So if this was 4 and 2, that would be 6 plus 3 plus 9. That would eliminate the 4 and the 2 from any possibility here. So can I get to 9 without 4 and 2 otherwise? It would have to be 5 or 6. 5 plus 1 would get you 6 plus 3. So that would work. Is there a way to get to 9 with 3 and 6 combined? Nope. So the only possible way would be 5 and 3 and 1 if this is 4 and 2. Let's say if this was 5 and 1, then that would eliminate the 5 and the 1 possibilities here. So could I get 6 into, or 2 and 4 at that point, and then play 3, 2, 4 and 3 if this is 5 and 1. Yeah, both work. They replace each other. Combining all of that though, maybe we then consider these boxes as possibilities of the remainders. If this is 4 and 2 to get to 6 to get to 9, then the only possible way here would be 3 and 5 and 1. So then 1s would be out, and then 2s would be out, and then 3s would be out, and 4s would be out. So either I've used some shady logic here that's not actually logical, or I've eliminated all possibilities on the 7 to, or all other possibilities except for a 7 to the square. Let's check our work. I either got lucky or I was correct. That also tells me this spot and this spot are not 6, which makes that 3 and 4 pair. It also tells me this spot here is not a 6. Okay, that makes a 4 and 5 here. So we can remove 4s and 5s from that possibility. We can also eliminate 4 from this possibility, which makes us finally get back to the 2-3 we thought we had before. But things are definitely much different now, meaning that we need that to lock in as a 4, and we are wrong. So let's back off of that. I guess just back off quite a bit here. We'll still assume that that is correct, and that that would get rid of that. But I've made a mistake, and every mistake is effectively just laying a landmine for you to step on in the future. Okay. let's reevaluate these combinations now. If we are at that spot. Could a 1 and then a 3 and then a 9 be placed here? Yes. Could a 1, a 4, and 8 still be placed here? Yes. And it's too many combinations still. Let's look at this one. Could a 4 and 6 still be placed here? Well, 4 could be here and a 6 could be here. Could a 7, a 3 be placed here and a 7 here? Yes. So we still don't have enough information. Let's assume that we're right about this 3, 4. Then this would have to be a 6. That point also means one of these has to be a 6. Does that affect things? Not really, because the 6 or 7 as a possibility still means this is either 3 or 4. You could clear some things up here, I guess. 1s and 2s. A 6 and 7 can't be here. I don't think this combination helps. Again, I guess if this is a 4 and 5 pair, but something's got to be wrong. This can't be a 4 and 5 pair. There's got to be another option. Because we've already been told that this isn't 4 and we need a 4 in this box. And we know everything else is correct. Unless 4 somehow could be here, which it can't. You can't go 4, 5, 6, since we already see the 6 there. So pretty much this has to be 4, we've been told. Is there another way to get to 9? If you had 6 and 2, that'd be 7, 8, and 1. So 6 has got to be a possibility there. But 6 can't be a possibility there. So 7. 2. Yeah. 2 might be a possibility. Let's just also say 3 might be a possibility. We know it's not 1. We'll just fill in the lower numbers, and that should possibly get us back on track. 2, 5, 9, and then 3, 4, 8 also should have a long time ago eliminated 3 and 4 as a possibility. So that means this is either 6 or 7, which we should have gotten to that earlier. There's not a 6 and a 7 in this square. But unless there was 3, 4, 6 wasn't here. Unless that possibility was gone. Everything still seems somewhat doable. These 3 columns and these 3 boxes are going to be pains in the butt until the very last second, I think. 3, 9, or 4, 8. Well, 4, 8 still possibilities. Let's just try basic Sudoku before I'm gonna have to just give up. Yeah, and ask for a hint. Again, I should make sure, starting at number 1, go through all the numbers, make sure that there is not a naked column, not a naked row, not a naked box. We want there to be a more complicated reason as to how the next step is solved. And frankly, I have to admit, I'd like to see some puzzles that just didn't have complicated reasons and trickiness to them, and more just, this is your basic Sudoku puzzle, and sometimes you are going to get a basic Sudoku puzzle as a way of adding a level of falling action compared to the constant rising of difficulty and rising amount of moves and action that this game is creating by just constantly giving you more and more difficult puzzles. 5 6s. Sevens, 8s, and 9s. Nope, can't see anything. Generating smart hill. Impossible killer combinations. Okay, at least that's a different hint. None of the cells in the cage at row 2, column 7 here can be 6, 9, which means that the cage cannot be 1, 6, 9. 1, 5, 9. Removing the 1 is a possibility from the cells in that cage. Okay. None of these can be 6, 9, which means 1, 5, 9 is not doable, and 1, 6, 9 is not doable. Also 2, 6, 7 is not doable, and 2, 3, 2, 5, 7 is not doable. Seems like the smart hint is going to work me up to this, so we're going to have to move forward. From that, then smart hint 2 says the candidate line row. In box 3, one can only go in row 3, which removes 1 as a candidate from row 3, column 5. Row 3, column 5. Here? Okay. We've already done that. So we're already ahead of the smart hints. Impossible killer combinations. None of the cells in cage at row 8. Column 7. Now we're looking at something completely different. Row 8, column 7 can be 7, 8, 9, which means the cage cannot be 162, 257, 347, 158, 248, 149, and 239, removing 1, 2, and 4 as possibilities from the cells in that cage. Which, yeah, I definitely probably didn't gracefully get to that conclusion, but I did, by just brute forcing and checking everything, get to that conclusion. Multiple line rows. In boxes now 7 and 9, 1 can only go in rows 7 and 9. Yeah, 1 can only be here or here or here or here. One of these rows, or in that spot, which removes 1 as a candidate from row 7, 5, column 5, which that 1 is already missing, and row 9, column 5, which we've already done that. In boxes 7 and 9, 2s, let's now look at 2s, can only go in rows 7 and 9, which removes 2 as a candidate from row 7, column 5, and 9, column 5. Okay, so we get down to the 5, 9. 4s can only go in 7 and 9 too, so that would remove 4s from that same spot. It's clearly working towards something, but the hints are kind of more broken up than they would need to be. That being said, I would every time prefer the smart hint system of breaking up hints, so you can take things easy and in small chunks, compared to the handwritten hints, which often just say and say slash. But anyways, yeah, 4s were supposed to also be removed here. And then a naked pair here gives you your 5, 9 here, which we can highlight, I guess, at row 7, channel 5, column 5. It removes 5 and 9 from all the other candidates in box 8. Okay. We've already done that. We've also done the column. Candidate line column. In box 8, 5 can only go in column 5, which removes 5 as a candidate from row 1 and row 2 and row 3 and row 5, which we've already done that. Then it's going to tell me the exact same thing for 9. Box 2, 5 can only go in row 2. Which removes 5 as a candidate for row 2, column 7. Which we'd already done that. And 8 and 9. We're definitely spiraling in circles, because we started this smart hint with eliminating possibilities here, and we've gone just full circle back to the spot. Impossible killer combination. None of the cells in the cage at row 2, column 7 can be 5, 6, 9, which means the cage cannot be 2, 5, 8 or 2, 6, 7 or 2, 4, 9, removing 2 as a possibility from the cells cage. Yeah. What's going to suck here is I'm hoping that the smart hint actually ends with me making progress. It would really suck if the smart hint is literally just telling me how to get to where I already am, and then there isn't one final step towards a resolution. Multiple lines row. In boxes 1 and 3, 2 can only go in rows 1 and 3, which removes 2 as a candidate from row 1, number 5, column 5, and row 3, column 5. Okay, we've already done that. And then we have a naked pair, a 3-4 pair act in this box, removing 3-4 as a candidate in all other cells, which I guess we can go ahead and mark that just so we see the pair. We've already removed the 3s and 4s from every other possibility. In boxes 1 and 2, 3 can only go in 1 and row 1 or row 2, so does that inherently mean 3 and 4 can't be here and can't be here? Probably, but we've already set that up. Yeah, so that removes it as a candidate in row 1, number 7, 8, and 9, in row 3, column 7, 8, and 9. Hint number 14. Yeah. And if you have to think 14 steps to solve a puzzle, it's probably too many steps for me. Although maybe I have no real limit there, depending on how easy it is to figure out the steps. In boxes 1 and 2, 4 can only go in the same places, which eliminates 4 here, here, and here, and here, here, and here. And then a hidden pair, 3-4 pair at row 1, column 2, and row 1, column 5. Wait. Removes all other candidates from those cells. I don't follow. I don't follow this concept of a hidden pair. We need a 3 and a 4 in this row, I guess. Which means either this is 3 or 4. Which means since a 3 and 4 can't be here, there was this circular logic. We eliminated any possibility of a 3 and 4 being in the row, which means this can't be 2 and 5. Okay. I guess that weirdly maybe means I should pair those two up also. And I wouldn't be surprised if they say the exact same thing, because I bet you can't have a 3 or 4 here, but you could potentially still have a 3 or 4 here. Candidate line row. In box 1, 5 can only go in row 3, which removes 5 as a candidate from row 3, column 7, which has already been removed, and row 3, no, 7 would be here, and 8 would be here, which have already been removed. 5's not there. And then you have an impossible killer combination. None of the cells in the cage at row 3, the column 9, can be 8, 9, which means the cage cannot be 2, 8, 1, 9, removing 1, 2 as a possibility as from the cage. We've already done that. Naked pair, the 3-4 pair at row 4. Alright, now we're looking at row 4, column 1, this 3 pair, and row 4, column 9. Okay, I see we've got another pair there. So this pair, finally, I think I may be back into a point where I'm back on track. Although not 100% certain. Yeah, we know that the 5 pretty much has to be here or here. So let's go ahead and get rid of 5s in any of those. And then that might give us combinations here. This could be 1, 5, 7. It can't be 1, 5, 7 this way. Or it could be, like, guess it probably can't be 2 and 5 as a possibility. And then can we figure out anything else? Could it be 1, 3, 9? No, we don't have a 3. We don't have a 3 possibility here. Could it be 1, 4, 8? No. Assuming this information is correct, it could be 1, 5, 7. Could it be 2, 3, 8? No. Can it be 2, 4, 7? Possibly. Can it be 3, 4, 6? No. So that gets us down quite a bit as far as options go. And we should look at these combinations and see if anything's changed. We should look at these combinations and see if anything's changed now. Could I be 1, 3, 9 here? Yes. Could I be 1, 4, 8 here? Yes. Could I be 1, 5, 7? No. And we probably can't be 2, 5, 6 either. Can I be 3, 4, 6? I don't think I can be, because if I was a 3 here, no, I could be. There could be a 3 here, there could be a 6 here, and a 4 here. Could there be 2, 4, 7? Yes. 2, 3, 8. 2, 3, 8, yes. 1, 4, 8. Then 1, 3, 9. So still a lot of possibilities there. Now, on this one, I see this is marked with 2, 3, but actually there are no combinations where that could be 2, 3. It's either going to be 3, 4, or 8. It can't be 9. And this one's marked also with a 2 incorrectly. And this could be, can't be 3, could be 4, could be 8, could be 9. And before I get back to the smart hints, which I haven't still done anything to disable the smart hint, let's look at standard Sudoku and see if we can move forward without having to use the crutch of the smart hints. 128 minutes into this puzzle. It still feels like there could be a decent amount of time here. That being said, things might also just fall into place very easily. We're making a lot of pairs, and when you make pairs, that tends to be the case where it feels like things can fall into place one after another consistently. Okay, I'm out of ideas. So let's continue with the smart hint. Number 18 of the smart hints. We had this naked pair of a 3 and a 4 on row 4-1 and row 4-9, which removed 3 and 4 as a candidate in all other cells of row 3-4. Then we have a hidden quad row. 5, 7, 8, and 9 quad are at row 5. Oh, this might explain why I wouldn't have seen this. Row 5, column 5. So that one. And then row 5, column 7. That one. And row 5, column 8. That one. And that one. And having a hidden quad in a row of 6, 7, 8, and 9 apparently eliminates 4 as being a possibility, because 6, 7, 8, and 9 cannot be here, cannot be here, cannot be here, cannot be here, and have to be somewhere. So that gets us to that spot. But also we've already solved 7 and 9 here, maybe prematurely. So this is really just a 6, 8. Let's just go ahead and highlight this hidden quad as a possibility. Whoops, clicked the wrong button there. That limits us down quite a bit to where the other remaining numbers could be, but it doesn't, I think, fully solve every other problem in this cell or this cell. So we have overlapping then killer candidate restriction. All possible combinations in the cage at row 3, which it's been a while and we're going back to this thing. So clearly the way the smart hint is probably programmed, I'm not going to say clearly, it's pretty impossible to know how something's programmed without seeing the source code, but I would guess it's programmed to probably start at the top and then either go all the way to the right and check for possibilities, and then go down and go all the way to the right and check for possibilities, and as such it is just constantly hitting this when there is a possibility and then working its way backwards to solutions for the possibilities. It may not be the case that it works that way. It may be that it works going down, which that would be a lot more possibilities to have to reach this point going that way. Or it could go this way and then curve back that way. The pathing kind of doesn't matter. It could snake up and down even and do 2, or snake up and down and do 3. And for Sudoku, maybe that would make some sense to snake up and down 3. Anyways, the hint is all possible combinations containing 5. All these possible combinations here that contain 5 are wrong. Removing it as a candidate. Removing 5 as a candidate from. Where's the typo here? Somebody typed the phrase candidate from, and then from is added again. From. You have a typo here in the smart hints system. For such high level complicated Sudoku puzzles, somebody needs to run a spell checker on this game desperately. It's not polished enough to really be released at this state. Anyways, row 1, column 7, row 7, column 7, and then row 8, column 7, and then row 9, column 7. But let's see. So that would be all of these and these. Row 1, 7, 8, and 9. They're saying should have 5 removed. All the possible combinations in the cage here contain 5. What? I must have made a mistake here. If I made a mistake here, then I've made a big mistake here also. So who's wrong? Am I wrong? Probably. Or is the smart hint wrong? Okay. Let's trust the smart hint. Then it says, through this whole process, we should have ended up with something like this. Okay. Not something that bad, but let's just delete the information and assume we're correct. If we are correct, then there's definitely something wrong here. All possible combinations in the cage at row 3, column 7. Nope, I was not wrong. I was looking at the wrong thing, so I was wrong. Should have been looking at this combination. And yes, we know that this has to be 5, so 2, 4, 7. It's not a possibility. 2, 5, 6, I guess is still a possibility. Okay. So, yeah, we saw this, but I guess I didn't put 2 and 2 together, that since 5 could be here, we've now proven that it has to be here. We should mark that. 5 basically has to be there. Then that means 5 needs to be removed in the other spots. Probably also means 5 could be removed from that spot. Which probably means we can just then lock that 5 in. Is that gonna change everything and then we can just start solving things Sudoku wise? Or is it still the case that it is just a crazy long chain? It seems like it's a crazy long chain. Whatever I did there finally did finish off that long 18 plus hint, smart hint. We can look at like basic Sudoku now again and see if that unlocks something. If it was going to unlock anything, it would almost certainly have to be a 5 that it would have unlocked. Although, I guess there is a small possibility that it would have unlocked something else. Come on, come on. I'm just gonna go back to the smart hints again. I don't feel as bad about it this time though. Like, this puzzle in particular is being cryptic just by being complicated, just having every single step be connected to so many other steps that, yeah, no doubt I'm not catching on. Let's move on, and at least these smart hints will start over with a number 1 candidate line row in box 4. So we're here. 2 can only be can only go in row 5, here or here, which means then 2 is removed from being a candidate in row 5, column 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, which we had mostly done that, but we hadn't completely done that because we added the numbers back due to some confusion. That makes an impossible killer combination. None of the cells at the cage in row 2, column 7, can be 6, 9, which means the cage cannot be 1, 6, 8, removing 1, 5, 9, removing 1 possibility. That's a possibility. We've already done that. In box 3, 1 can only go in row 3, which removes 1 as a candidate from row 3, column 5. So there does seem to be some hints here that must have been procedurally generated but then scripted for the final product. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the smart hints regenerate hints that tells me things that I have already marked as being true. And this really is just going to get me on the same path, so I probably need to just skip a bunch of this. Yeah. So the same logic that got me this 5 probably just knocked me off the path of what the smart hint was trying to tell me. Boxes 7 and 9. 1 can only go in row 7 or 9. Already done that. Already done that. Already done that. I'm just going to assume the naked pair of a 5, 9 here and here. Moves 5, 9 candidates for all of that. We've already done that. I may really just straight up need to jump to smart hint 18. Move 5 as a candidate from row 2, column 8, and row 2, column 9. Here and here, removes it from all other cells. I'm kind of skipping over some things here. Wait a minute. It's kind of going in circles too. Hint number 13 says the 3-4 pair in row 1, column 5 and row 1, column row 3, column 5 removes it 3-4 from a candidate from all other cells in box 2. Skip ahead 3 hints. Hidden row, the 3-4 pair, now in row column 2. Okay, so this is a different pair. Removes it from all other candidates in the row. So that is different information, and still information we had already done. So we're back to 18. None of the cells in the cage at row 3, column 7 can be 2, which means the cage cannot be 2, 5, 6. Which, yes, I do see that as a part of the problem. So it's got to be 1, 5, 7. So before we go any further with Smart Hint, yeah, had I gone further, it's almost certainly going to tell me that this must be 1, this must be 7. So set that resets that. Set that, that resets that. Then the question, I guess, is can we get any further? You have a 6, 8, 9, which we know the 9 will be here. But we don't know if the 6 or the 8 will be here. We could check the combinations here. This could be 7, 3 still. Could this be 6, 4 still? Yes. Could this be something that was 2, then 4, then 7? No. That's not a valid combination anymore. Could this be 2, then 3, then 6? It's possible. Could it be 1, 3, 9? It's possible. Could it be 1, 4, 8? It's possible. 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 8. It's possible. Still some other possibilities here. We had already figured out it wasn't 5, 7, so this still could be 3, 9, or it could be 4, 8, or it could be 8, 4. Arrgh. I don't think this is helping me enough. Is there a hidden triplicate here that would help? Or hidden quadruple? 3, 4 here, and then a 3, 4 having to be one of these. The 6, 7 gets rid of any other 6, 7s possibly. This 3, 4 and this 3, 4 possibly gets rid of the 3, 4s here, but not yet. Yeah. I don't even think it really is worth it to see. I don't think it's really worth it to try to even do classic Sudoku. Seems like every time in this puzzle that's just going to be a waste of time. So we're back to Smart Hint. And hopefully this is a new Smart Hint. Yes, it is, finally. So the 18-step Smart Hint was to get to the 157 here. Now it's just something that my adult brain is overlooking. Apparently there's a hidden single here with 6s, where 6 can only be in one column. Yeah. That is exactly true. And then, does that make any new hidden singles? Makes a 3-5 here, which doesn't really change much, but maybe it does help us find or already know that it was 356. So yeah, that doesn't change anything. Twos. There's a 2 here. Looking at this column in particular, there's a 2 here. There's a 3 in a couple places there. There's 4s in multiple places. 5's already been done. 6 has already been done. 7's already been done. 8 in several places. And 9 in several places. So I don't think the smart hint is actually going to be based off of what we changed here. So there must be something else that I'm missing. And now we're out of smart hints. And certainly it's probably going to be a case where this written hint is going to be like there will be probably several written hints that I have to go through before I get to a hint that would match where I am now, which it feels like where I am now is very far in solving the puzzle at 150 minutes, but I could very well be proven incredibly wrong about that, and there could be just a lot more unwinding of logic to figure out what the next step is. But before we do that, I'm gonna take a break. Maybe I've already taken a break in this recording, but I'm gonna take another. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I guess that was probably a fine time to take a break since, I mean, we weren't really making any progress on our own. Yep, there's definitely a problem here in the back half of this series, which is already problematic for having episodes that are insanely long. But all of these puzzles are just going to get harder and harder, and almost certainly most of the puzzles from this point forward I'm going to have to heavily rely on hints just to have a manageable schedule, and frankly to just solve the puzzles at all. Yeah, the fact that we've gotten this 7 in this quadruple fixed, I don't think really helps me as much as it should have. But yeah, can't generate a smart hint. Let's go with the first hint and see how many of these hints we managed to pass, because this is, I guess, the new yardstick that I could possibly judge myself by. Is just how we know we can't solve the puzzles by myself, so it's just going to be how few hints that I really need, and how many hints can I do just smart hints instead of written hints, which tend to be more complicated. The thermos box in box 4. Okay, so in box 4, this produce a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple there, with 1 on the bulb, and one of the thermoses must continue with 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, that was a long time ago. If this happened in box 1, then row 3, column 1 here would be 6. And there would be another 6 in row 3, column 6. Which weirdly we didn't end up with that actually being the case. So 5 is in row 6, column 3. Here. Okay, we did that. In column 1, a 7 and 8 pair is created and a 6 can be placed in column 1. We've done that. Triplets in row 2 at 4, 5, and 6. And row 8, 4, 5, and 6 can be calculated using the secret. Each row adds to 45. So the secret, I guess, is what Cracking the Cryptic has just dubbed the mathematical proof here, that every row, every column is going to add up to 45, because every row, every column, and every box will add up to 45 too, because that's just the sum of 9 through 1 added together. Do you even really need that information? And frankly, in this application, I don't think that is helpful. I think it's probably easier just to say that the triplet here and the triplet here can be calculated, because there's only 3 possible numbers it could be. But no, I guess it does matter in this case, because you're getting the number 15 here, and that's what's helping you calculate the numbers here. You have to add 15 to plus 9 plus 7 plus 6, which would be 15 plus 13 plus 9, which would be 28, 36, which then a 1, 2, 5 doesn't add to up to 45. I'm doing the math wrong. But you would have to use the math part in this case. You can't just use a pattern placement choice. 1, 2, 5 would be 8. 8 plus 15 is 23. 23 plus 7 is 30. And then 30 plus 6 and 9 is 45. So on second attempt, that gets us to this point. We almost certainly filled out this point not using the secret, but the secret probably would have separated things a lot better. If it is a case that Cracking the Cryptic puzzles and Sudoku puzzles, though, are mostly just built around the secret, and there is no other secret, that would be fine by me. But I think there are some other mathematical and pattern placement secrets and other methods. And at a certain level, they'll just make more variants that make more secrets and more methods to solve the puzzles. Because if you were just playing a classic Sudoku game and you weren't having killer boxes, then you wouldn't ever really need to use math and do the secret. Yeah, and there's a limited number of ways in which the secret works. That's why he calls it the secret. If I was going to give it a name, I wouldn't call it the secret, even though that's a short name and an intriguing name. I would call it a 45 complement. That this triplicate would be a 45 complement of 15 plus these 3 numbers. But that certainly would be wordier and probably doesn't make any more sense than just calling it the secret. Row 4, column 6, cannot be 7 to avoid the 1, 2, 4 quadruple in row 5, 6, and 7, and 8. So at one point there was a quadruple of 1, 2, 4. Here, 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 and here. And just having those 4 numbers, even though there were other possibilities, says that this cannot be a 7. We should figure that out. It also can't be a 6, which would force a 2, 1 into row 5 and 6, making the other arrow box 5 impossible. I'm not sure I really follow why putting a 2, 1 here would make a 5 not work here. Regardless, we've already solved this hint. Similarly, row 3, column 4 cannot be 6. This one can't be 6 because the other arrow in box 5. 8 can't be placed in column 4. And 7 can't be placed in column 6. So I guess they're saying if this was 6, then in this column you couldn't place an 8 anywhere for some reason. I'm not following any of this at all. No, I'm not looking at the right thing anyways. No, I am. This is row 3, this is column 4. If this was 6 for some reason, then the other arrow would have to be an 8, I guess. Then if an 8 was here, there just couldn't be an 8 in this column. And then also 7 wouldn't be able to be placed in column 6 if that were the case. So you would have had to evaluated basically every possible scenario, and maybe that's the case with arrows always, and maybe that's my hang up with them more than anything, is that I'm just not willing to calculate the outcome and the possible combinations early enough. For similar reasons, row 7, column 6 here must be 3. We've gotten that far, so we made it to at least hint the handwritten hint number 6. Arrow cell in box 5. Arrow cells in box 5 now sum to 15 now. And 4, 5, and 6 in column 5 are 6, 7, and 8. So this hint solved the 6, 7, and 8 being here in a very different way. And I guess this highlights that there are multiple ways to do this. He did the secret again, saying, well, if this is subtracted from 9, then you have 6 here, and then you have 9 here, which is 15. 15 then gets subtracted from 45 to give you 30. 6, 7, and 8 then add up to not 30 though, 21. So it's not the secret. Playing a role. So what does the summing of the arrow boxes to 15 do? 15 from 45 should give you 30. And then I guess maybe this 9 I didn't add before. Yeah. 6 plus 9 here. Yeah, you subtract this 9 to get 6 for these two boxes, then you add the 6 to this 9 to get to 15. Then you add another 9 here to get to 24. 24 minus 45 would be 21. 7 plus 8 is 15, plus 6 is 21. So it is a secret, I just didn't do the math right. 6's can now be placed in column 4, which we've done that, and column 6, which we've done that. And now a 5 must be placed in row 2, column 4 or 6. So 5 must be here or here. I see that. That makes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuple. 5 number quintuple in row 5. Really? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuple in row 5. 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. That's a quintuple. I guess that's 5 spaces, but including all those numbers, leaving the rest just 6, 7, or 8. It makes row 5, column 7 here. Either 6, 7, 8, or 9, which we did get to that point. And then now row 3, column 7, cannot be 6, 7. So they are in a pair in column 3. A pair in column 3 is a 6, 7. Because there's not a 6, 7 here. Didn't we solve this already? Apparently not. Apparently this hint had not fully told you that this needed to be 6, 7. 1's in row 2, column 4. 1 cannot be in row 2, column 4, or the arrow below it in box 5. Will make row 8, column 4 impossible. And the same is true for column 6. Well, let's stop here. Seems like we had to get to row handwritten hint number 8 before we see something here. Okay. So, if the 1 is here, then that would eliminate 1 from this possibility. Is there a way to make 9 without taking the 2 and 4 up? If 1 is already missing. It would seem like probably not. But even mathematically, if you could do 2, then 3 to get to 5, then 4, that takes you 2 and 4 up. So we need a 1 in this combination. So this can't be 1. Interesting, making progress. And then the same is true in column 6. So let's ask this question. If a 1 is here, then to get to 9, or in this case to get to 6, because we already have a 3, you'd have to be 2, 4. That 1, 2, 4s you, making that impossible. So that 2 can't be 1. So now that twist makes that 1. Okay, we've potentially set ourselves up now so that this is going to be 2, 4. Does that help much? This 3, 4 combination, if this is accurate, should also eliminate the 4 here as a possibility. Actually should have done that a while ago. So my instinct tells me this is 2. Okay, then you have a 1, 4 combination here. And I don't think you can really do anything more with that. You have a 2, 5 combination here. I don't think you can do more with that. Yeah, weirdly, I don't think with just basic Sudoku we can make a lot of progress. Let's see. Row 2, column 4 cannot be 2 for similar reasons. Interesting. Let's think that through. If this was 2, then to get to 9 it could be 1 plus 3, 1 plus 5 plus 3. So 2, 1. Nope. If this is 2, then this can't be 2. This would have to be 1 and then 4 and then 5. And that would still make that impossible. So this just can't be 2. So it's got to be 5. Which makes that 2. Alright. Apparently that makes that 1. Makes that 2. Makes that 1. Should just be filling in every number, and everything may literally just fall into place now, and we'll probably run into a small speed bump on some mistake we've added. I don't have confidence that this is 100% accurate information that we've put in. We may just hit a speed bump in that I don't see the next step. Or maybe there's just going to be another trick. Could be that there's just going to be another trick. Boy, do I wish I could just breeze through these puzzles. Boy, really, am I just proving myself over and over again as not being really the right person to try and cover Sudoku puzzles. Inherently, as a video game critic, my focus has always been to try and play a fairly wide amount of games and a fairly diverse amount of games. There are definitely some games that I have not, some game genres I haven't really gotten into, but I am definitely not specializing at doing Sudoku puzzles, nor am I specializing in the much more action direction of playing like online first-person shooters, Modern Warfare type games, Halo games, things like that. So because of that, as a video game critic, I know my skill shouldn't and wouldn't increase to an extremely high level. And I say it shouldn't increase because you stop being a very good critic if you start to become an expert at gaming and you're not having a similar experience, or as similar as possible experience, to your average gamer. Perhaps you want to be slightly better than your average gamer, but you definitely don't want to be an expert on gaming as a general critic. Now, if we're going to be a specialist critic who only talks about fighting games and only plays fighting games, for example, that's fine. I see a lot of streamers, and I'm really no one to criticize how other streamers make their content, but I see a lot of streamers that really do just want to play Modern Warfare 24/7, 365, and that'll work for a certain audience until they get bored. It certainly worked for Minecraft streamers and Minecraft content creators, playing Minecraft for years and years on end. But it does kind of pigeonhole you into never being able to play a different kind of game. On the other hand, perhaps I'm proving here that it's okay to give up on things too, and not just power through incredibly difficult puzzles. I guess I need another hint. There's something logically I'm still missing here. Before I do that, I guess it might be helpful to just reevaluate the combinations on this, since it seems like we know that this is 348. Let's mark that as correct. And we still know this could be 6 or 7, and still know that this could be 3 or 4. Here we would have to have something that had a 5 or a 7 in it to eliminate it, or a 1. Yeah, we have a 1 here. So if I had 1 here, I couldn't have 3 and 9. So that's no longer a possibility. If I have a 1 here, I could have a 4 and 8. If I have a 2 here, I can have a 3 and 8, so that's still a possibility. And 3s don't seem like they can be in here at all anymore. That doesn't quite get us to that spot. We know this is 356. And if I had a 3 here and a 9 here, that's still doable. If I had a 4 here and an 8 here, that's still doable. If I had an 8 here and a 4 here, that's still doable. So yeah, it doesn't feel like the next step is here. We know a 3 or 4 goes here. We could experiment and say if a 3 was here, it would eliminate this possibility. Would it then make it impossible to have a 3? No. If the 3 was here, then a 3 still could be here. Well, wait a minute. Let's ask this question again. If a 3 was here, then it would eliminate the 3 here and 3 here. And then it would put a 3 here, which then would eliminate this 3. Which then stops really none of those 3s. It doesn't really stop those 3s from being here. And if there was a 3 here, then it would eliminate these 3s, but you could have a 3 here. So yeah, I don't think there's a solution in that. Let's see, hint number 8. 1 cannot be in row 2, column 4. there or below it. Row 2, column 4 cannot be 2 for similar reasons. We did that. If row 6, column 7, or 3. Yeah, I was just looking at this. In box 5. The 3 in the box 5 would make 2. The only possible lower digit in row 6, column 9. So if 3 was here, then this would be 4. And then 2 would have to be here somehow. I'm not following that. Only possible low digit in this box, making the 13 cage of C9 impossible to fill. Let's look at the possibilities here. If the only low digit, if 3 eliminates this and 4 eliminates this, then this would be 2. I see what changes there. You have to just consider possibilities. I really don't like these speculation solutions. We just have to try things. Right. 3 and 4 being eliminated would give you a 2 and a 3, and you wouldn't have a 3. Okay. So this can't be 3. Which then, impossible combinations tells me that this can't be 9. So we've got a 4, 8. They could be either way. Which then you just may have a naked column, and that is a 3. And I don't know if that helps you any further than that. If this has got to be 4, 8 now as a combination, because it can't be 3, 9, then we have a 4, 8 pair, and then that means that's not 4. And that makes a 2, 9 pair. Now, 2, 9 pair here, which we'll just label them, why not? Already labeling everything else. I also have a 3, 5 pair over here, and a 6, 7 pair over here, and a 4, 8 pair over here. Yeah. Also, might as well just mark that as a 4, 8 pair while we're at it. You could mark that also as a pair while you're at it, but I just refuse to use this blue. It's too close to the area of effect. So we've marked a whole bunch of pairs now. Does that help me solve the next step, or are we still just working? It probably does, because now we can look at possible combinations here. And since we know there's a 4, 8 here, there can't be a 4 and an 8 here. There could be an 8 here. So this 1, 4, 8 couldn't work. This 1 would have to be here, the 4 would have to be here, and the 8 would have to be here. And no, that still might work. actually, because it could be 1, 4, and 8 here, and then this could be 8, and this could be 4 there. The 2, 3, 8 possibility is even more possible. Okay, so I don't think we can solve that. We may be close to the point where we could put a 1 here, but honestly I don't think I can do anything, and I'm going to lose momentum. Either I'm going to have to just try brute forcing Sudoku solutions, which is a 1 quadruple where 1 has to be here and a 1 has to be here, or 1 has to be here and 1 has to be there, which would eliminate 1s from any other spot, but that's already happened. We've got a ton of things as far as possible 2s. We've got 3 4s, possible 3s all over the place. 4s all over the place. 5s all over the place. 6. 7s. Yeah, I'm just not going to see it. You do know that in either this or this has to be 8, which is going to eliminate some possibilities here. So either I go to hint 10, or I see if maybe I can get a smart hint. Nope, which we can't get a smart hint. So let's go to handwritten hint 10. They might as well put handwritten hint. So the 4, 8 in now row 6, this one, and 7 column, these two, put a 3 in row 2 column 7. Okay, we've done that. And the mean 1 of row 3 and 4 column 7 So when you put a 3 here, then this has to be either one of these two must be 5 because there's no other options. I think we already got that. So row 8 and 7 is 6. We did eventually figure that out too. And yeah, I'm certainly not really following along with that hint, but I think we've already done that. If row 3, column 9, row 3 and 4 of column 9 is not 7, 3. It is 6, 4. And there must be a 3 in the column 9, 13 cage. Either way, row 8, column 9 cannot be 3. If this was 7, 3, this can't be 3. If this was 6, 4, then the possible combinations on this, if this was 6, 4, would eliminate the 4, and it would have to be 2, 3, 8, which would also eliminate this 3, and that is complicated, which just means that's 5. Then we just have a naked 5, that at least I can find that much on my own. And then that means this is a naked 5, which means then this has got to be a 4, then that's got to be a 3, and a 2, and we've got a whole box set now. Then a 4, and a 3. Got to put the 3 here, which means you got to put the 2 here, which means you put the 4 here. Then you've got a 3, and a 4, and then 8, and a 4, and we're just going to keep on spiraling until we can't find anywhere to spiral anymore. This is just going to be almost all of it. Almost the entire puzzle, I think, is going to be solved. We've got an entire box now here and here and here. Very close to an entire box here. Nope. A full box there. Another box here. So there's just a 5, 9 pair finishing this box off, and a whole bunch of numbers. This 4 makes that 6, makes that 7, makes that 2, makes that 3, makes that 9, makes that 6, makes that 9, makes that 2, makes that 5, which makes that 9. Now this box is done. This one is a 1. This one's a 5. And this box is done. And we've gotten 3 numbers, and it's still going to just be super easy going forward. Now 7s are done. I need to just slow down a little bit here to not accidentally end the puzzle, because there's definitely a lot of cleanup I'd like to do. So where is 9? Last 9. Here. Okay. So we had to go to hint 11. What would have hint 12 been? It would have said if row 3 and 4 in column 9 is not 6, 4, it is a 7, 3, and then column 9, 13 cage would be 8, 4, 1. Either way, row 2, column 9 can't be 4. And then the final hint would have been now the 3, 4 can be filled. Row 3 and 4 of column 9 can be filled. Now if row 3, 4, column 9 was a 7, 3, the cage, the column 9, 13 cage cannot be filled. And that's just the end of the handwritten notes. You'd think that the last statement on the handwritten notes should always be, you can now complete the puzzle. And it should have that conclusion feeling to it that yes, you can complete it. So let's, I guess for ease sake here, clean up all of this by just selecting every single box, and we'll get rid of all the highlights so we can just see what the puzzle looks like without all the color. We'll just add every single color to the mix. Then we will click it again and it will take off every single color, because we know at least one square we selected did not have any color in it. None of this seemed to thematically fit the number 500 at all. I imagine what happened here is that there was a call and a request for Sudoku puzzles that had the number 500 integrated into them for the 500,000 subscriber special of Cracking the Cryptic's YouTube channel. And undoubtedly, this was the one that they chose as the second runner-up because it's more difficult than the other 500, 500, 500, 500 puzzle. We did, at the end, almost exclusively classic Sudoku solutions. And I wouldn't be upset with it being a case that almost all the variety Sudoku games are solved by classic Sudoku near the end. But I also wouldn't be upset if you had Sudoku games that really nothing was solved by classic Sudoku, and you just learned that early on and you had to solve it with some other variant rules. The thermometer here really only played a role at the beginning and gave me trouble just because I didn't have the full logic there. The arrows gave me very little help until late into the middle part of solving this puzzle, and the possibilities of killer boxes here played roles here and there in the early and late and end game, but never really had a standout section of their own. And I still think I'm leaning towards disliking arrow variants more than anything else. There's something very different about doing killer boxes because you're looking at combinations and you've got this whole calculator playing a role. And then in theory I think I like thermos, but they, in this puzzle in particular, didn't really find an appeal. That it was just too forgettable. I think you need probably at least 2 thermos, and probably this is true for any variant, is that instead of giving me one section of one thermo and then one section of arrows and one section of killer boxes, I'd like to see them overlap and synergize with each other in some way. They all were very separate. Yeah, and overall the puzzle is still just way too hard. There's just nothing else to say there. I'm spending 197 minutes solving this puzzle, heavily relying on hints now. It really was a downhill slide after puzzle 13, when I literally could not figure out what they were trying to say at all. And even now I don't have but maybe a small clue as to what they were trying to say, but I'm still not sure I could do it. It might be interesting, certainly, if I came back several years from now and came back and just breezed through all these puzzles. And yeah, I probably could breeze through this puzzle, which only took me 80 minutes in the first place. So we're gonna have Killer Little Killer Sudoku variant next time for puzzle 15, and this thermo arrow puzzle here, constant overlap, might be an intriguing puzzle for thermos and arrows. There's a lot of ones that do have arrows as part of their variants. My biggest hope, however, is that this variety pack is just much easier and revitalizes me at the end of the series, and then I will just at least end on somewhat positive outcomes because I'll be solving easier puzzles. That's my hope. Otherwise, I'm just going to end this series, and even if I did end on a positive outcome, I still think I'm going to probably have to end this series and say I'm done with Sudoku for a long decade or two. Like, the puzzles are too long. I'm not getting fast enough to solve them. It in no way would really work as a replacement for my live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which right now I'm just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which is much faster and prettier. You're gonna admit that too. More funding behind it by far. The Sudoku puzzles really would have had to taken about 20 minutes to solve each, and I can't really justify trying to buy any of the other Cracking the Cryptic games on Steam to see if maybe those puzzles are a lot easier, to the point where I'd average about 20 minutes a puzzle or less. So this will be almost certainly the end of my attempt at being a Sudoku player. And I think there might be an argument to have a puzzle game that sometimes gives you Sudoku puzzles, sometimes gives you nonograms, sometimes gives you word jumbles, sometimes gives you like Wordle puzzles, things like that. There's a lot of different puzzles out there, and having more of a variety activity book equivalent of a video game might have more of appeal. Of course, then it probably wouldn't have the specialized interface that is very helpful in this game, but still gives me some trouble. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.